These are the best hair oils I have ever tried. This is part 5 of my favorite hair care products in every category series. And the first 4 parts of this series have been intentionally spaced out over the last several months because I didn't want to overload you guys with these kinds of videos back to back to back to back. But I need to post an updated step-by-step hair care routine for you because it's overdue at this point, and I felt like it wouldn't make sense for me to post that video without wrapping up this series first. Well, partially wrapping it up, because I'm still working on testing out products in a few other categories like serums, creams and lotions, styling, dry shampoo, etc. So those will come eventually. It's just going to take some more time for me to round out and finalize my favorites for those. But my favorites are already finalized in what I kind of see as these core product categories: clarifying shampoos, shampoo and conditioner sets, hair masks, leave-in conditioners, and hair oils. And since I've already posted videos on the first 4 in that list, it is time for the 5th: hair oils. Here we go. Just like last week's video on my favorite leave-in conditioners, I'm going to share these recommendations from the lightest to the thickest to hopefully make it easier for you to figure out which of these options will work best for you. So we are going to start off with the lightest of my recommendations first: oil mists. An oil mist will be for you if you have fine/thin hair that is weighed down easily, or if you are looking to add a bit of extra conditioning, smoothing, and shine between washes in the most lightweight way possible that is the least likely to contribute to the feeling of product buildup. I have 3 recommendations, and they are actually all from OGX, but the lightest of those 3 is the OGX Bond Protein Repair 3-in-1 Oil Mist. This is different from their other 2 options because it contains their bond repair technology called FiberHance, which you will see listed on the ingredients label as these 2 ingredients here. And the other main thing that makes this different from those 2 is the fact that this one is silicone free. So in addition to FiberHance, the other key ingredients in this include both coconut and shea butter, as well as a lot of different oils like wheat germ, argan, coconut, jojoba, camellia, adansonea digitata, tamanu, moringa seed, nigella sativa seed, and prickly pear. This has the same fragrance as their leave-in conditioner and the rest of their Bond Protein Repair collection, which is a floral fragrance with notes of jasmine, orange, and rose. I feel like it maybe just translates a little bit softer in this oil than it does some of the other products like the leave-in conditioner. For an oil, this feels incredibly light and non-greasy. It's one of those that I feel like I can add a lot of without my hair having that kind of just like classic separated stringy look that you can get with an oil if it's too heavy for your hair type or if you add too much. So if you're one of those people that feels like basically every oil you try just like sits on your hair and makes it look and feel heavy, then this is going to be right up your alley. Next is the OGX Argan Oil of Morocco Weightless Dry Oil Mist. Ingredient highlights in this include a couple silicones and argan oil, and this fragrance is described as citrus fresh, floral green, and woody. It's so nice. And they actually call this a weightless dry oil mist, I think just to convey how different the formula is compared to, like, let's say one of these oils from them or a traditional oil that you would pump out of a bottle. And oil is obviously not wet, but when you try something like this, you understand why they chose that terminology to describe it. It really is super lightweight. You can see here it just sprays out very fine. And compared to the other oil categories in this video, it just has that more fine, weightless feel in the hair if you don't go overboard, of course. It is just a little bit heavier than this one and has a little bit more of that slippy feel in the hair, but otherwise both of these are incredibly light. And the last mist is the OGX Nourishing Plus Coconut Oil Weightless Hydrating Oil Mist. I've talked about using this as a pre-shampoo oil for those of you that find the coconut miracle oil to be too heavy, but you can absolutely use this post-wash too. The ingredients are incredibly similar to the argan oil, just with coconut oil as the key highlight instead of argan oil, and then this also has sunflower seed oil added too. This has fragrance notes of luxurious coconut milk, tangerine, and warm vanilla, and it is perfectly summery and tropical. I love this kind of smell. The argan oil might be just the slightest bit more lightweight than the coconut oil, but otherwise these 2 have pretty much always been interchangeable for me because of how similar they are. With how I like to use an oil mist, which is just sprayed in my hand and then worked through my hair with my fingers and my palms, I don't really think that there's a noticeable difference in the results that I get between these 2. So I don't think that you can go wrong. I think it kind of just more so comes down to personal preference for the scent. But again, I do think that these 2 are just a little bit heavier than this. All right, moving on. The rest of the oils in this video are kind of what I was talking about earlier in terms of a more traditional oil where you either pump or pour them out of a bottle. And out of all of those, these are the most lightweight. First is the Living Proof Frizz Vanishing Oil. Living Proof is one of the only brands that makes some silicone-free products that actually work well for my hair. Like this winter, they launched a gloss that's silicone free. That one I find really nice. This is also silicone free. Obviously, this one from OGX is as well, but I would say generally OGX is not a silicone free brand, whereas Living Proof very much is. They do use an ingredient that is supposed to be an alternative to silicones with similar benefits called hemisqualane, or on the label listed as C1315 alkane. They also have some other emollients that are supposed to be light and velvety and non-oily, like isohexadecane, isododecane, isoamyl laurate, and then a variety of oils like sea buckthorn, sunflower seed oil, brassica campestris, if I'm saying that right, watermelon seed, moringa seed, jojoba seed, and babasu. This has the signature Living Proof fragrance, which they describe as a light citrus scent. Usually their fragrances are pretty strong and potent and therefore pretty polarizing, but I feel like this is not as intense as some of their other products, like especially some of their dry styling products. I think that those tend to have a really, really strong smell. This is not like that, and I enjoy it. This is very thin, very slippy, oily, obviously, but not in a greasy way, and it really doesn't have much viscosity at all. And what I have always liked about this is it doesn't add to that feeling of buildup in my hair when I already have a lot of product in it. It just seems to sink in really nicely and give me that additional softness without making my hair feel gunky in any way. So if you don't love the idea of an oil mist, but you kind of relate to what I was saying earlier, where you feel that a lot of oils you try just create that feeling of unwanted buildup, then this is a really great option to try. And second is the Amika Superfruit Star Lightweight Hair Styling Oil. This provides 450 degrees of heat protection, and the ingredient highlights include some things we've already touched on: non-greasy emollient, silicones, and sea buckthorn oil, which all of their products have. The fragrance is Amika Signature Fragrance, which is a warm floral with notes of pink grapefruit, apricot, and vanilla. Love. They just launched a hair fragrance, by the way. Did you guys see that? The texture of this kind of reminds me of like an oil serum hybrid because there's almost something slightly gel-like about it. It's definitely thicker than Living Proof, but it still is one of the lightest in this video, especially because of how it absorbs into my hair. It just gives me that extra smoothness and shine without it feeling like I just coated my hair in oil. So if you want a lightweight option that has a bit of a serum-y quality to it, both in the way that it feels and the way that it sinks into your hair, then I think that you will really love this. Next up, we have what I would describe as our midweight oils, because they're definitely not as light and thin as everything we just talked about, but they are also not thick or heavy either. They're kind of in that middle ground, that nice in between. The first two options are from Dove, and we're going to talk about them together because they are very similar. The first is the Dove Intensive Repair 10-in-1 Serum, and the second is the Dove Bond Shield 10-in-1 Serum. They have a lot of similar benefits like 450 degrees of heat protection, smoothing, strengthening, shine, but Intensive Repair makes some additional claims about repair that Bond Shield does not, like restoring the hair barrier and reducing protein loss. That tracks with the rest of the Intensive Repair collection because that system, which has a shampoo, conditioner, and mask, contains an additional technology for repair that Bond Strength does not. The ingredient highlights are essentially the same, with the exception of coconut oil being added to Bond Shield. Otherwise, we have lots of silicones, we have apricot kernel oil. Both have a modified silicone called aminopropyl dimethicone, but what I noticed about it is that it's higher up on the ingredients list for Intensive Repair than it is for Bond Shield. And that is one of those silicones that's able to form a bond with damaged sites on the hair cuticle, which makes it amazing for damaged hair. So that might be why Intensive Repair is able to offer some additional reparative benefits that Bond Shield is not, because these do not have the same technology as the in-shower products, but maybe I'm totally off on that, who knows. And these have the same fragrance that the in-shower products do for both the Intensive Repair and Bond Strength systems. I would describe it as being tropical, fruity, and coconutty. And again, I would consider both of these to be midweight oils, with Intensive Repair being a little bit thinner than Bond Shield. But both are amazing and really stand out to me as being more cosmetically elegant than a lot of drugstore hair oils I've tried in the past, both in terms of the actual texture and how they apply to my hair. They're really so nice, and I know that both of these are technically called serums and not oils, but to me that's kind of like, it doesn't matter what it's called. These have much more of that oil-like texture that we're used to, that everything else in this video has, than a traditional serum that is light and kind of airy and jelly-like. Like for example, the L'Oreal Bond Repair Serum. That one to me has that true serum-like texture. This is not like that at all. So that's why I include these in a video like this, but ultimately it doesn't really matter what the name is. We're talking about the same kinds of benefits and uses for all of these. Next, we have the Bumble and Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil. This provides both heat and UV protection and has some standard silicones and emollients, also has a modified silicone, bisphene rapeseed amodimethicone. And then there's 6 oil blend, including coconut oil, argan oil, grapeseed oil, macadamia nut oil, sweet almond oil, and safflower seed oil. The fragrance of this is the same as the Invisible Oil Primer that I talked about last week. It is described as a luxe yet light scent of fruit and tropical florals anchored with rich musk and woodsy notes. Gotta get a better whiff of this. This also smells lighter to me than the leave-in conditioner. I feel like that's definitely a theme with all of these. This is a little bit thicker and more viscous than both options from Dove, while still not being thick or heavy. I have used this for years at this point. It's one of my OG recommendations that really stands the test of time because of all of the benefits, the ingredients, and how well it works in my hair without making it greasy, stringy, or weighed down. And last, for our midweight oils, is the OGX Nourishing Plus Coconut Milk Anti-Breakage Serum. Ingredient highlights include a couple silicones and coconut oil, and the fragrance is the exact same as the coconut oil mist, so summery, tropical, coconutty. This definitely does have a little bit of a serum-like quality to it. I feel like it's kind of comparable to Amika, where it's almost like an oil serum hybrid, but this one is definitely thicker. However, like I was just saying for Dove, this does not feel like that classic serum texture to me. It's not airy, it's not jelly-like, it's not super light. And if you've tried any of the OGX oils that come in bottles like this, I would say the experience is pretty similar with this one, the Anti-Breakage Serum, not feeling quite as dense and heavy as those. This is also one that I like to recommend as an alternative to this for a pre-wash oil, because I know that it's just too much for some people, but again, there's no reason that you can't use this post-wash. Works great for that too. So I would say that this one is going to be for you if you have tried these kinds of oils from OGX and felt like you really loved a lot of the benefits, the slip, the shine, but you wanted them to be just a little bit lighter weight. But now we gotta talk about these. Our thickest oils, which are all from OGX, clearly I have a type. I just feel like when I discovered these and the fact that they're only $10, I was like, okay, I'll take one of everything you have. And because they are so similar, I'm just gonna talk about them together like I did with Dove. So first we have the Extra Strength Damage Remedy Coconut Miracle Oil. Then we have the Renewing Argan Oil of Morocco Penetrating Oil, and an extra penetrating version of that too. All of these offer 450 degrees of heat protection, which I actually learned relatively recently, super exciting, and have very similar ingredient highlights, including silicones. They actually all have argan oil, but of course that is the key ingredient with this, and then this one has coconut oil and also safflower oil. These have the same fragrance as their mist counterpart, and to me have always just been the thicker, heavier versions of those that are amazing for anyone with really thick, coarse, difficult to manage hair. Like if you're somebody that feels like you just need serious smoothing, frizz control, detangling, conditioning, these are gonna be amazing for you. Especially this extra penetrating one, if you're one of those people that's like, my hair just drinks oil, like I can't seem to get enough, try this. I have obviously always raved about the coconut oil as a pre-shampoo treatment, but there's no reason why you can't use this post-shampoo. That's actually why it was formulated. I just decided to hack it randomly one day. Really, all of these work both pre and post-shampoo. It's just totally up to personal preference. And while these are absolutely thick and heavy, and the thickest and heaviest in this video, they are not as thick and heavy as something like a pure coconut oil or a pure shea butter. A little goes a long way with these, and just a little gives my hair amazing slip and glide. So again, for my really tangled, frizzy, difficult to manage, thicker, coarser hair types, these are gonna be for you. And that is a wrap on my top hair oil recommendations. I really hope you found this helpful and were able to figure out which option is going to work the best for you. But also hopefully this helped you to realize that there's really a lot of similar options out there, and a lot of it just comes down to personal preference for fragrance or the slight change in thickness. I've always enjoyed having different oil formats in my collection because I feel like my hair just feels different depending on what products I used each wash day. Sometimes I might only want a little bit of a mist, something really light. Other times I might feel like I need that thicker, more intense smoothing and conditioning. But you of course do not have to do that. You can definitely just stick with one oil if that's what works best for you. Let me know in the comments below which oil of these is your absolute favorite, if there are certain options that work well, others that don't. If you would like to hear my favorite hair care products in other categories like shampoos, conditioners, masks, and leave-ins, all of those videos will be listed for you in the description box below, and let me know if there are any other categories I haven't covered yet that you would like me to cover in the future. Either way, thank you so much for watching this video. I love the freaking heck out of you guys. Make sure to stay tuned for my next one because that will be up a week from today, but until then, I hope you have a great week.